Imagine waking up tomorrow and money simply didn't exist. No coins, no bills, no bank apps, nothing. How would you get food? How would you pay for anything at all? It sounds almost impossible today, but for most of human history, that was exactly the reality. People survived, traded, and even built entire civilizations without a single coin in existence. So how did we go from a world with no money at all to a world completely built around it? The answer isn't as simple as someone just deciding to invent it one day. It's a story of trial and error, clever solutions to everyday problems, and centuries of human creativity. In this video, we're going to trace that journey from the very beginning, and by the end, you'll never look at a simple coin the same way again. Before money, people relied on something called bartering, trading one item directly for another. If you had chickens and needed shoes, you'd find someone with shoes who wanted chickens. Sounds simple enough, right? But there was a massive problem hidden inside this system, something economists call the double coincidence of wants. What happens if the shoemaker doesn't want chickens that day? Maybe he already has enough, or maybe he wants fish instead. Suddenly, your trade falls apart completely. As communities grew larger and trade routes expanded, this problem became a serious obstacle to economic growth. People needed something else, something universally wanted, easy to carry, and simple to divide. That missing piece would eventually change the entire course of human history. Long before coins, ancient societies experimented with different objects as early forms of money. In parts of Africa and Asia, cowrie shells became widely accepted for trade, valued for their durability and natural beauty. In ancient Mesopotamia, barley and other grains were used to measure and store value. Some cultures used salt, which was so valuable it eventually gave us the word salary. Others used cattle, tools, or even large stone discs, like the famous Rye stones of Yap Island, some too heavy to even move. What made these objects work wasn't their material value alone, but the fact that entire communities agreed to trust and accept them. That shared trust, more than the object itself, was the true birth of what we now call money. Eventually, societies realized metals like gold, silver, and bronze solved many problems that shells and grain couldn't. Metals were durable, easy to divide into smaller pieces, and didn't spoil or rot over time. Around 600 BCE, the Kingdom of Lydia, in what is now Turkey, is credited with minting some of the first standardized coins, made from a natural mixture of gold and silver called electrum. Each coin had a stamped image, guaranteeing its weight and value, which made trading faster and far more reliable. This innovation spread quickly across Greece, Persia, and eventually the entire Mediterranean world. For the first time, people could carry compact, trustworthy value in their pockets, and the concept of standardized currency was officially born. Coins were revolutionary, but carrying large amounts of gold or silver for major trades was still heavy and risky. In China, during the Tang dynasty, merchants began using paper receipts representing stored deposits of coins, a system that evolved into official paper currency by the Song dynasty around the 11th century. This paper money wasn't valuable on its own. It worked because it represented something valuable stored safely elsewhere, and everyone trusted that promise. When Marco Polo traveled through China centuries later, he was amazed to see an entire empire running on paper instead of metal. It took hundreds of years for this idea to spread to Europe, but eventually banks and governments adopted similar systems, laying the foundation for the paper money we still use today. As trade expanded across Europe during the Renaissance, a new challenge emerged. How do you safely move large amounts of money across long, dangerous distances? The answer came from early banking families, particularly in Italy, who created promissory notes and letters of credit. A merchant could deposit money in one city and withdraw an equivalent amount in another, without physically transporting gold at all. This system dramatically reduced the risk of theft during trade and travel. Over time, these practices evolved into structured banking systems, complete with loans, interest, and credit. Money was no longer just a physical object anymore. It was becoming an idea, a system of trust, recorded in ledgers and agreements between people who might never even meet in person. For centuries, most currencies were tied directly to gold or silver reserves, a system known as the gold standard. In theory, you could exchange your paper money for actual gold stored in a bank vault. But this system had serious limitations, especially during economic crises and global conflicts. In 1971, the United States officially ended the gold standard, moving to what's called fiat currency, money that has value simply because governments declare it does, and because people collectively trust and accept it. This was a massive turning point. Suddenly, money wasn't backed by a shiny metal locked away somewhere. It was backed entirely by confidence, government stability, and economic agreements. Nearly every country in the world eventually followed this same path toward fiat currency. By the late 20th century, money began transforming again, this time becoming almost invisible. Credit cards, bank transfers, and digital payment systems meant people rarely needed physical cash for everyday transactions. Numbers on a screen replaced coins in a pocket. Then, in 2009, an anonymous creator known as Satoshi Nakamoto introduced Bitcoin, the first major cryptocurrency, built on blockchain technology instead of banks or governments. This sparked an entirely new conversation about what money could even mean: decentralized, digital, and independent from traditional financial institutions. Whether cryptocurrency becomes the future or remains a niche innovation, it proves one thing clearly: money continues to evolve, adapting to whatever technology and trust systems humans build next. Here's the surprising truth: money itself has almost no real value. A dollar bill is just printed paper, and digital currency is just numbers in a database. What actually gives money power is collective belief, millions of people agreeing to accept it as valuable in exchange for real goods and services. Economists call this a social construct, something that only works because everyone participates in the same shared agreement. If people suddenly stopped trusting a currency, as has happened during historical periods of hyperinflation, that money can become worthless almost overnight. This reveals something fascinating about human society. Money isn't really about metal, paper, or pixels. It's about trust, cooperation, and a system we've collectively agreed to believe in for thousands of years. So the next time you hand over a coin, tap a card, or send a digital payment, remember you're participating in one of humanity's oldest and most powerful inventions. Money evolved from shells and grain, to gold and silver, to paper and now digital code, but its true purpose never changed: solving the simple problem of exchanging value between people who don't always want the same thing at the same time. It's a system built entirely on shared trust, refined over thousands of years of human creativity and cooperation. Understanding where money came from helps us understand where it might be heading next, and reminds us that even something as ordinary as a coin in your pocket carries an extraordinary story behind it.